What's up, friends, and happy Friday. Welcome in to a Friday edition of Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Behind the cameras today, Elijah Schmidt and Tyler Brewer. And alongside Dan Courtwright, I'm Sean Kellerman. Thanks for joining us as we get your weekend going here on Kansas Nation. Really excited for the show today. We've got all sorts of great content for you yesterday after a steamy day at the indoor practice facility yesterday for Kansas Jayhawk Football Media Day.
It was actually crazy. It was hotter in the indoor than it was outside.
I was so sore after that. I mean, I went home because, I had to go to a different job where I am on my feet for 7 hours. I went home for like 30 minutes, and I'm like, oh, my God, I have to sit down for a second. Like, it was a hot one in there, very stimulating, talking to a lot of guys, but so fun. Excited to load up on content. If you don't follow us on socials, make sure you do that.
I was gonna say nobody understands the hard day's work we put it in at the old podcast
holding up a phone
factory. Yeah, holding up a phone and a microphone,
setting up tripods.
Both of my arms were like this for 2 to 3 minutes at a time.
See, and it's tricky because we set up tripods when we can.
Yeah, but
it's like go, go, go. I mean, you've got 30 minutes to go through 30 guys, and then they bring in another 30 guys, it's a lot, but. Anyway, check us out on socials, Kansas Nation on Facebook and at The Kansas Nation, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We have a couple of different interviews with Dylan Edwards, a couple of different interviews with Yasin Willis. We've got quarterbacks. We're going to play those here in the opening segment as well, and variety of coaches also. We heard from tight ends coach Matt Lubick, both coordinators, and Lance Leipold as well. So all sorts of stuff on our socials and on KansasNation.com. Here in the opening segment, like I said, we're going to hear from the two quarterbacks who were fighting for that starting job, Cole Ballard and Isaiah Marshall. Of course, those two were in the spotlight yesterday at the indoor practice facility. We're also going to talk KU soccer as they were in Columbus yesterday, taking on Ohio State in a top 20 battle. Next segment, we are going to bring on David Lawrence from the Jayhawk Radio Network. Haven't had my good buddy DL on in quite some time, but he is a football guy through and through, former Jayhawk captain. He's going to break down both sides of the ball for us regarding 2026 KU football.
I got it. Inside the Booth with David Lawrence.
I like it.
That's good, right?
That's a great Inside the Booth with I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Shout out to David Lesky, by the way. We are going to hear from KU football head coach Lance Leipold following DL. And then after that, Dan, we've got the sports stock market, everybody's favorite segment. It's a truncated segment today.
Everyone loves it. I only got like 6 things on here. But
whoa, calm down.
Yeah, I know. AJ Store's making his way on the list.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
So exciting.
Former
AJ Store
Jayhawk,
revenge game.
Great.
I can't wait.
There will be an AJ Store revenge game. If you haven't heard when that game will be taking place, then make sure you're tuned in to the stock market later in the show. Are we going to have something brewing a little bit later?
You smell that? It smells like something's brewing.
Is it beer or is it coffee?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Tyler Brewer what he has on tap, if
you
will.
Come on.
When he comes on Rock Chalk Sports a little bit later. And then we're going to hear a couple of the interviews. Both Dan and I had maybe not exclusive, but almost exclusive interviews with the two guys who were named to the Doak Walker Award preseason watch list representing KU, Dylan Edwards and Yasin Willis. We'll hear the Dan version of those today.
Yeah, I didn't know that you had also gotten them, so I got them later. Like, Dylan and Yasin were just, like, sitting by themselves. And so I was like, I'll just go and snag them. And then you text me today, and you're like, I already got them. So I was like, all right, fine.
Worked out.
So it works out all right, but, it's – Sean and I had to split up and knock everyone out, and so we were kind of bouncing around and we didn't know who got who. Yeah. So we had some duplicates, but I'm assuming your questions are probably a little bit better than mine.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think those are the only duplicates we've got. So we're like, all right, let's play those today, and then you'll hear version 2, if you will, next week on Rock Chalk Sports. But all those will be up on our socials. And then we're going to close out the show finding out if Kansas football will go 12-0 this season. It's just how it's played out in giving record forecasts for all the other teams. They all happen to have lost to Kansas, according to Daniel Courtwright. So he's going to let us know if Oklahoma State will hold serve at home and give KU an absolutely heartbreaking loss to end an 11-0 season, or if the Jayhawks do the unthinkable and go 12-0.
Yeah, wouldn't that be horrible if KU goes 11-0 and then loses?
We'll see what
happens. I don't know. It's just the way that it's shaking out.
Anyway.
I'm just going off my gut. My gut feeling is telling me that Kansas wins every game this year.
All right, well, we do want to talk KU soccer, but how about we throw to the quarterbacks? Are you good with that?
I'm fine with that.
We got Cole Ballard and Isaiah Marshall yesterday at the indoor practice facility. Cole, a guy that we've talked about a lot. He's a guy who's been a part of the program, and he spoke yesterday to the media.
100%. I mean, you're out there, you're in the film room, you're watching film, you're telling them, all right, this is what I see here against this pressure look or something along those lines. Then we're out here all the time just working the little things of, all right, this is when I need you to look on this route, or this is where you are in the progression, all of that kind of stuff.
What do you think of yesterday when all those college guys, NFL guys, got college eligibility restored? Are these times crazy?
It is a crazy time. I mean, I don't look into it too much. I try and stay off of social media, so if anything happens here, I'm sure we'll find out from coach or one of those guys. But, I'm just focused on our season, what we can do.
Sorry if it's already been asked, but just how's fall camp been going? We just talked to Zeke about building that chemistry with those new wide receivers. Just, talk about those new guys in the room with Nick McMillan and Najee Cox.
It's been great. We're learning from each other each day. We're in there watching film. Like, this is what I saw on this play. This is what they saw. Like, how can we meet in the middle? And just being able to learn how their bodies move, what they're looking for in a certain play has really been awesome.
And obviously with Kotelnicki back, I mean, you're familiar with it, but just having him back at the helm with all of his creativity that he does, I mean, just kind of expand on that a little bit, playing quarterback in that system.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I've had 3 different offensive coordinators, and Coach K coming back for the second round. But I think all of them have done a really good job of getting guys in different positions and us just being very multiple on offense, and that's what I'm really excited for this year.
What are you seeing out of the guys in the backfield with Dylan Edwards and Yasin Willis, 2 very different styles of running backs? But, I mean, just talk about having those guys in the backfield with you.
They're electric playmakers. I think we have a lot of guys in the room who can do a lot of different things, and they can do them very well. So it's really just putting the ball in their hands and letting them go do their thing. That's what they've been doing their whole life. So just getting the ball to them in space and just letting them work.
What's been the biggest point of emphasis for yourself personally to kind of take your game to the next level?
Just continuing to make the good decision, the smart decision. It doesn't always have to be the flashy decision, but, like I said, getting the ball to them in space has been just critical to, I think, our success, and I think it will be critical to our success.
That's KU quarterback Cole Ballard yesterday at KU Football Media Days. Hey, let's hear from the other QB who is hoping to take the first snap. Again, we're going to read a lot into that against Long Island, but it's not really going to matter who takes the first snap. We're going to see both of them.
Andy Kotelnicki said that he's going to take the first snap.
That's right.
He said that he has one more year of eligibility, and Andy Kotelnicki is going to go out there and take the first snap. So everyone can shut up about it.
Ever since he talked about Gatorade in a can and brought it to that one presser, I've been craving one, and I haven't had one yet.
No,
they do need more flavors, though. They've got 1 billion flavors that come in the bottles, but Gatorade in a can, man.
He brought it up again yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
he was like, has anyone heard from him? I haven't heard from him yet.
We need a sponsorship on that front. All right, let's hear from Zeke Marshall yesterday at the indoor practice facility.
In high school than it is in college?
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Because I feel like in high school, I was the only QB, but in college, everybody's good. So I would say it's definitely a big difference for sure.
Maybe it's the state title game, man, that we've all seen 100 times. Is that the biggest moment that shows what a gamer is? The Isaiah Marshall version, anyway? Yeah. Have you had a moment here where you felt that again? I mean, obviously not the stakes and all that yet.
Kind of. I mean, the couple of runs I had, the one against Oklahoma State for sure. But, still haven't felt that yet.
Right,
but,
right. And those were the JD's dying for you to get in, right? Yeah. I love it. Go ahead, whoever else.
How's your fall camp been going? Obviously, a big competition going on right now in the quarterback room. But, I mean, just talk about how fall camp you think has gone for you.
I feel like it's been going good. I feel like I've been trusting the process good. I feel like I've become a more vocal, help the guys around me become better and just get guys going. So I feel like it's been pretty good for me.
With Andy Kotelnicki coming back at the helm at offensive coordinator, we just talk about playing quarterback in that style of system. A lot of different things going on, pre-snap movements, different things. He's known for his creativity. Just talk about playing under him.
I think it's great. Like every day I see him, great energy. The offense he has is great. I mean, it's pretty I feel like it's great, and I feel like y'all already know that because he's been here before. But it's going to be very explosive, very fun to watch for sure.
Talk about building that chemistry with the wide receivers. Obviously, you have Keaton who comes back, but with Nick McMillan and Najee Cox, being 2 new guys but big body style of receivers. I mean, just talk about the chemistry that you built with them.
I feel like, since the first day they came, we'll probably throw about 3 times a week from the first day they came. So I feel like during that, the first spring and then going here, it's been great. I built a great chemistry with them and a great connection off the field with them. So just keep going forward, keep building that connection, and keep trusting them, and hopefully they keep trusting me.
With the 2 running backs, with Yasin and Dylan, very different styles of running back, I guess. But talk about having those guys in the backfield right next to you, and maybe highlight what you think they're the best at.
I feel like they're the best at everything they do. Yasin, big, physical, but can make you miss too. Dill, that's unexplainable. I mean, come on. He's fast, quick, smart, great hands. They both can catch out the backfield. So, I mean, they're both great running backs for sure. The whole running back room is great.
And a guy that we didn't see a lot of in the spring, but you've seen a lot of Jalen Dupree as well. How's he fitting into this system?
I think he's doing good. He's doing real good, actually. He's a great tailback, too. Got good moves, great vision. So it's going to be a great year for sure.
Hey, when did Zeke come into your world?
Zeke?
Yeah.
So I'm from Detroit, and my dad and my family, they was big Isaiah Thomas fans.
Okay,
so
I figured.
They called Isaiah Thomas
Right.
Zeke, so they kind of called me Zeke, and
Like
kind of just
from early age.
Okay. Yeah. So like my dad and mom would call me Zeke more than they call me Isaiah now. So
Did they name you after him?
no, they did not.
No.
I don't think they did.
So Isaiah is just different.
Yeah,
but
Isaiah.
then they were, okay,
but then they was like, yep.
Do you go by Zeke or Isaiah more?
I go by Zeke, but it doesn't really matter. I feel like it's kind of equal. Zeke comes more, but if somebody calls me Isaiah, I won't think of it as like, oh, he called me Isaiah. It's kind of pretty. Yeah.
You see the old Pistons highlights and stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they were bad.
Yeah, I know.
Literally, that was the name,
I
right?
know.
The Bad Boys.
The Bad Boys.
That's fun. Your whole family, they all.
The whole family.
Yeah,
the whole family.
Love it.
And that's Isaiah Marshall yesterday at KU Football Media Day. A lot of the same, Dan. I know people always want breaking news, and members of the media did ask Coach Leipold, Coach Kotelnicki, and like you said, Kotelnicki kind of answered in jest, saying he was going to return for his final year of eligibility.
And Lance did not like the question.
Yeah, it's well,
he's not going to answer.
He's not going to answer. There's no reason at this point to give anything away. That's the bottom line, and I think Coach Leipold definitely, subscribes to that. What's the point of making an official announcement, right? I mean, most people do it, but there's not really any positive to that. Kansas plays against Long Island on the 4th. That's 2 weeks from now. But Kansas is going to beat Long Island. You have 3 weeks until Missouri comes to town. Do you really want them knowing exactly what quarterback to prepare for? That's what it comes down to. So I understand why the question is asked. It's a fair question to ask. That's what everybody wants to know. It's the most important individual position in any team sport. But we're just not going to know, and we might not even know by the end of the Long Island game.
Right, and I think that it's just fans are getting frustrated because they want to know, because they want to
rally around a guy.
Who they can rally behind. Exactly right. But at the same time, I understand the strategy behind it. It's like, hey, don't give Mizzou anything. Make Mizzou, I guess, prepare for 2 different quarterbacks, right? You're going to run both of them out there against Long Island. We're probably going to see Chase Jenkins. We're probably going to see, a number of different guys. We're not going to see what the primary team is going to look like, at least after halftime against Long Island, if everything goes according to plan, right? So I understand the strategy behind it is, hey, make Mizzou prepare for 2 different quarterbacks. But I understand the fan frustration as well. They just want to know who the guy is going to be, because what a lot of the fans don't understand is the strategy. They don't understand that. They just go, oh, no, now we don't have any quarterbacks because they don't have faith in either one. That's not necessarily true. What's necessary? What it is essentially happening is that they're kind of waiting and making other teams kind of guess what they're going to do. I bet they have faith in both of these guys. I bet it's the exact opposite of what the fans think, is the fact that they do have faith in both of these guys, but they're just going to wait and hold on because, like you said, there's no real point in announcing it in terms of strategy, in terms of making the other teams kind of guess who it's going to be.
Yeah, it's exciting to look forward to football season, and again, it kind of comes down to fans wanting to rally around somebody and because no matter what, there would be discourse on the quarterback if Kansas were to announce who it is. Positive, negative, either guy, there'd be conversation about it. And maybe that's what people want, is just the ability to talk about it and again, give their opinion. Who knows? But
that's what we want. That's what we do all day, every day for
right.
2 hours a day.
For sure. But, we'll be excited. both guys bring a lot to the table, as we've heard about, and I know a couple of the other guys were asked about it yesterday. Again, we'll play all those interviews for you here in the coming shows on Rock Chalk Sports.
I will say this. I mean, something that's been consistent that has been talked about with Lance, with Andy, with everybody, with even the quarterbacks is who's going to be playing the most consistent football. And I asked Cole Ballard in the interview, I said, well, what have you been working on? He said, making the smart plays and being consistent, right? And Isaiah Marshall said kind of the same thing, is like, being that consistent guy as well. So I think both of the quarterbacks understand that aspect of the game. That's what's going to really take them to the next level. Yeah, they can be as athletic as they want to be, right? They can, do all these fun different things, the Mahomes-style throws and, be super athletic and hurdle over guys or whatever. But at the end of the day, it comes down to who's going to make the smart decisions. Because if you don't make smart decisions, guess what happens? That leads to turnovers, right? That leads to poor execution on the offensive side of the ball. That leads to not understanding the way that the system is supposed to be put in place with Andy Kotelnicki's style of offense. I think both of these guys understand that. That's why I think the competition is so healthy, right? Because it's kind of forcing both of their hands to not make the big plays, but make the smart plays. And that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the best out of these guys, no matter who it's going to be.
Maybe this is too, homery, I don't know. But I've never been
like
as
Homer Simpson?
excited about a group of skill position players offensively. I've never been as excited as I am this year.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Kansas had really good players, and Devin Neal, it all starts there, maybe the greatest tailback to ever play here. And then you had 3 really good wide receivers. But this wide receiver group might end up collectively be even better than that trio. Luke Grimm ended his career as the third best receiver by yardage in KU history. So that's a high bar. But when you have Nick McMillan and Najee Cox and Cam Pickett, I just think from an athletic standpoint, from a Big 12 build standpoint, I'm excited for that a lot. And again, we're going to hear from Dylan Edwards, Yasin Willis later in the show. Kansas has dudes in the backfield. They've got great tight ends also. So again, I think the quarterbacks have the resources more so than Jalen Daniels did last year. And, some of that is because of things like NIL. Kansas was able to distribute their funds probably a little bit more evenly. But we have to see who wins the job, and we got to see how they can best lead this KU offense.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like when you have really good weapons around you, and that's with the outside wide receivers, that's with the interior wide receivers, with Cam Pickett and the tight end room, which we consistently talk about how deep that room is, with the running back room, how deep that room is. That's going to increase the level of play of whoever the quarterback is going to be. People can read into it all they want and say, oh, I like his arm better than his arm. I like his decision-making better than his decision-making. But at the same time, like the pendulum swings the other way, and it goes, well, you have Nick McMillan, who was a top 25 wide receiver in terms of yardage last year in the MAC, right? You have Najee Cox, big body guy, has an NFL style of body. You have Dylan Edwards, who we know what he's capable of in terms of running on the outside of the tackles and on the inside of the tackles. Yasin Willis, big bruising back. You have a really nice offensive line that we feel very confident in. That's going to increase the level of play for either of these quarterbacks, and you can utilize these quarterbacks in different ways. So the more that I think about it, the more confidence I have in both of these guys. Who is it going to be? I don't know.
We are going to bring on David Lawrence in studio next segment, but want to mention KU soccer. Ranked number 12 in the country, KU soccer fell in Columbus yesterday. It's number 19, Ohio State, 1-0. First loss of the season for KU as they fall to 2-1-0. Kansas had early chances to score in this one. Jordan Rowan had a shot in the box that was saved. Jillian Gregorski also had a shot on goal. Couple shots on target for Ohio State. Sophie Daw didn't allow any scores in the first 15 minutes and had a pair of saves, but it was in the 40th minute that Ohio State struck for the only goal of the game. It was Amanda Schluter. She took a bad pass into the 18-yard box and was able to score past Daw. First goal that Daw has given up in 3 games so far this season. Kansas limited Ohio State to just 5 shots in the second half, but again, offensively, not able to find the back of the net as Ohio State wins 1-0. So KU's 12-match non-conference unbeaten streak ends still under Nate Lather, 31-13-7. So pretty dang good. And Daw did have 5 saves, which was a season high.
Yeah.
I don't think this is sound the alarm type situation. It's a top 20 matchup on the road. You knew it was going to be difficult. Ohio State was able to hold serve at home. Kansas plays a difficult non-conference schedule, prepares them for Big 12 play. And again, it's not like they lost 6-0. I mean, you gave up one goal, couldn't get anything going offensively.
Yeah, and Sophie Dahl had 5 saves in this one. Kansas had 14 shots, 6 of them on goal. And Peyton Northrup, the goalkeeper for Ohio State, she winds up with 6 saves in this one too. So offensively, I thought Kansas looked okay. It was a really evenly matched game. It's just Kansas let one up, and that's what happens whenever you're playing soccer. But yeah, I'm not going to look at this as like oh no, like what's happening, because it's soccer. That stuff happens. You lose 1-0 in a top 20 matchup on the road. I'm not sounding the alarms. Absolutely not.
KU is going to continue their road trip. They're going to stay in the state of Ohio, which is that the Buckeye State, or did we? I think it's got to be, right?
Is it the Buckeye State? I'm sure it is.
Remember Utah? That was the weird one.
Yeah. What is Utah? No. Alaska has a great state nickname. I did that one time. I did my top 10 state nicknames.
Beehive State is Utah. I was right about that.
What?
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why we got into that or why we talk about.
No,
what
it's
we
called
do,
the Buckeye State.
No, I'm talking about Utah.
Oh, Utah.
I don't know
is
why I
Beehive
veered
State.
to Utah, but
Yeah.
I remember something weird like the Beehive State. Anyway, the Buckeye State indeed. KU will take on Kent State.
Alaska is the last frontier.
Sunday
Love
at
it.
noon. So important to get a road win against a MAC opponent after falling to Ohio State for Jayhawk soccer. But again, really happy with Nate Lee, and this is going to be a great season for KU soccer. We're going to have all sorts of coverage of that on kansasnation.com and across our socials. Hey, after this, we're going to bring on former Jayhawk football captain David Lawrence from the Jayhawk Radio Network to talk all things KU football as we are 2 weeks out from kickoff. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com. Sean Kellerman, Dan Courtwright back with you here on Rock Chalk Sports. Thanks for watching us on kansasnation.com. Hey, as we move from the heat of summer into fall, now is the time to make sure your lawn finishes the season strong. The work you do in August and September lays the foundation for a thicker, healthier, greener lawn next spring. That's where the experts at Custom Lawn and Landscape come in. From late summer fertilization and weed control to overseeding, aeration, and landscape enhancements, they'll create a plan that's right for your yard. Their team knows exactly what Kansas City and Lawrence lawns need as the seasons change. Call Custom Lawn and Landscape today or visit them online at customlawn.com to schedule your fall lawn care program. Custom Lawn and Landscape, your partner for a beautiful lawn in every season. All right, we're going to bring on my good friend David Lawrence from the Jayhawk Radio Network. And, of course, DL spent a lot of time playing football here at KU, was a letterman, was captain KU football. And this is the time of year we get most excited about, David. We are 2 months out for KU against Long Island at the second rendition of the new booth. I guess. Is it still reimagined?
It's newly reimagined.
That is not newly reimagined.
I heard that somewhere.
You heard it somewhere, read it somewhere.
Recently reimagined David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium.
David,
presently reimagined?
David, thanks for coming in. How's the offseason been? Very busy for you. I know you've got a variety of different hats that you wear, but football is back.
Great to be with you both.
Absolutely.
Yes, good summer. I think this is the first time I've been on air since,
it's been forever.
Our disappointing postgame, which is always finishes that way.
Yeah. Well, there were twice where
unless you cut down those nets.
Yeah.
Which has happened. It's been known to happen here.
Yeah. It has. Well, I wanted to ask you who the quarterback's going to be. No. But in all reality, we were joking in the opening segment, kind of recapping Media Day about how Kotelnicki joked that he's going to have a year back of eligibility. He's going to be the QB. Coach Leipold understandably didn't want to, I don't even want to say show his hand because they might not know at this point who they're going to go with. But that's the big story. Just a word on a couple guys who have both been in the program 3+ years, and, we think they're both winners.
Yes, I'm optimistic that we're going to get great production from both of them. They are not the same person. They both have some similar attributes, however, but they bring experience. They bring toughness. I think they're team guys. I really think they do cheer each other on, which is a difficult thing to do. And we know with Coach K, he's, you talk about new imagine. He's got the imagination to incorporate both of them, perhaps. You never know with Coach K. So we'll see what the future has in store.
Yeah, and I mean, I want you to kind of expand on that because Andy Kotelnicki, known for his creativity, known for his imagination, and when you add in all of the dangerous weapons that Kansas has at those at those skill positions, with Dylan Edwards, being that fast kind of scat back, you got Yasin being that big bruising back through the tackles, and a couple of really nice wide receiver additions. Plus, you have Cam Pickett coming back for a big year 2 in this program. I mean, just talk about how massive that was to get Andy Kotelnicki back into this offense, because we got a taste of it when he was here. Now it's back, and we remember how exciting that offense was whenever he was at the helm.
First of all, Dan, you're doing your homework on Kansas football. I like that. That was accurate. But Coach K brings something that I think all of us as humans would like to have, and it would help us in what we do, is swag. The guy's got swag. He steps into a room and boom, boom. I mean, it's there. And I think that just exudes confidence. And he also has a track record. That helps. And he can back that up from proof in the past. But to answer your question, I think that was a tremendous thing that acquiring Andy to come back.
Yeah. And again, he's got to look at the skill positions that this particular Kansas team has, and we'll dive into that more specifically and be excited. I was talking to you yesterday when we were sitting in the press conference. Kansas has had a lot of really good players over the years. I don't know that I remember walking into that room and seeing guys who, as I think it was, I don't remember if it was Kotelnicki or Gildersleeve. Somebody said the guys are rocked up. These are fit, big Big 12 dudes. I'm talking Nick McMillan and Najee Cox and Cam Pickett. Those guys are ready. Yasin, Willis, are you kidding me? I mean, I was interviewing him yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, this is a big dude. And, there are other people who bring things forth. And this is no disrespect to a guy like Emmanuel Henderson last year, but I said to Dan, I'm like, Nick McMillan, kind of has the build of what I want my wide receiver 1 to look like. And, all indications are that he's going to be that guy. And Cox, we're expecting big things from too. But have you noticed anything just walking in and seeing these guys from an athleticism, size standpoint that's just different than even a couple years ago?
Yes, bigger, stronger, faster. I mean, that's what Gildersleeve has strived to do. And I think, without a doubt, we've taken a step up in that. The culture, that Lance Leipold has established here is very strong. And I think that's a big one. Everybody, seems to be all in and getting to be their best self. But, yeah, you mentioned Cox and McMillan. They look like they came from the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And Middle Tennessee and Buffalo, I'm sure that's part of the portal, but you get your heart broke when you're a mid-major, and they're going to miss those guys, but we will be benefiting from both of them.
Yeah, 100%. David Lawrence from the Jayhawk Sports Network from Learfield joins the show here in studio. And David, wanted to talk to you about the construction continuing on the new booth, because where your radio booth is, you got to see the old remnants of the east side of David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. It was a stadium that you played in back in the day, back when you were in college, and I'm a sucker for nostalgia. It kind of made me sad a little bit to see it go, but also seeing the new construction. I mean, you've been in there and seen what they're doing on the east side and building that new bowl. Obviously, it's going to be under construction until 2027, but just talk to me about all of the investment that's been put into KU football, because that's something that has been sorely missed over the last 20 years. Honestly, over the last several years, the entire time that Kansas football has kind of been around. I mean, just talk to me about how incredible it is and how great of a job that Travis Goff has been able to, get this money funneled into this Kansas football program to get it to that next level.
Travis Goff, key guy, right? I mean, you go back in our history of when we've been strong in football, and it's usually connected to an athletics director, and we could also flip the script and talk about that. But to do this project amidst NIL, are you kidding me? I mean, how many schools have just put up their hands and say, we can't do it.
Yeah.
We can't come up with 20 million. I mean, how do you account for that? And then, Travis, with the help of some great donors, David Booth leading a list of outstanding people that have made this possible to build a state-of-the-art stadium. So it is. And I don't know if you guys have been on the inside. The east side looks a lot more complete from the inside than it does from the outside. Because I know it would be easy for you to say, driving along Mississippi, like, whoa, stuff needs to get done. Well, they are working weekends and late to get as much as they can done. But it looks good. And speaking of nostalgia, I've got a trivia question here for both of you.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
All right.
You've been in Lawrence now for a cup of coffee. I mean, few years. What does every Lawrencian know today is? It's not celebrated. It would be just the opposite of celebrating.
Today.
August 21st.
The opposite of celebrating.
Yes. I won't keep you.
Oh, man.
But there is a group of people that came over from Missouri.
Oh,
The
man.
raid.
And camped
Date of the raid.
east of here
Quantrill's raid.
and left in the middle of the night and came over and killed most of the adult males.
1863.
Everyone standing out against slavery. And that's commemorated in a negative way. But I tell you what, they're making a return trip here on 9/11.
That's right.
Friday night. And we're going to be ready for them. Won't be a surprise attack.
And let's talk about that game. All right. It's not as easy to talk to the guys yesterday. I squeezed in the question to a couple different guys, not everybody, but just to kind of, ruffle the feathers. And I know we get a lot of one game at a time, and the Long Island game is first and all that, but you know me, just like you, David, and people who grew up in the Big 8, Big 12, whatever it was era where Kansas and Missouri were in the same conference. I'm going to relate that to this upcoming season in this way. Kansas was beating the Tigers 21-6 last year in Columbia, ended up losing for two main reasons, and this is how I'm going to flip it to this upcoming season. They couldn't get off the field on third down, and even though they had the scoop and score from Austin Alexander, they weren't able to make the big kind of winning plays down the stretch, be it a takeaway or anything like that. That's been a big emphasis in these press conferences this season or this offseason, I should say. How is Kansas going to get off the field on third down? How are they going to increase the number of takeaways? I think they only had 4 interceptions last year. DK has been asked about that a lot, and some of the individuals have been asked about it. That's going to be important because what have we seen for Kansas football the last 2, 3, 4, however many years? You're playing a lot of one-score games, and it comes down to either making the plays or not, and they got to be in the right position, and they got to answer the call.
Yes, and you started out talking about offense. I would start talking about our defense. Not that we don't have those weapons that you had mentioned, but defensively, we are going to put out a very formidable bunch. I think the turnovers are going to occur, but in and of itself, it's getting off the field on third down. But, I mean, where do you start? I think for me, the linebacker depth, because being around here, when did we have depth at linebacker?
Never.
And how many times did we feel good about linebacker, then we start the conference, one, maybe two of them get nicked up, and we're like, whoa, man, we need more linebackers. And it just gets thinner as the season goes on. And I like our guys. I think they scored well in the portal at numerous positions. We can talk about them individually if you want, but linebacker depth, defensive ends, would come up next. Leroy Harris, I'm sure you've talked about him.
Oh, yeah.
He literally pulled in the parking lot and came out on the field in August, and I watched him, and I thought, wow, we haven't had a dude that looked like that and moved like that since when? And all Leroy has done is increased his bulk to 270 pounds, and he's running like 21.7. And, you know, our tackles struggled blocking, but think about that. If you're an offensive tackle going against Leroy, not that the others aren't strong as well, it's a good position for us. But now you're going to face some dudes from Missouri, and they've shopped and paid for their outside rushers, and our tackles aren't going to be overwhelmed because they've seen Leroy. But he is really, and of course, playing next to Blake Harold, who's just a athletic, relentless, 100% guy. You're talking about vying for all conference honors and maybe even the next award after that. Hoping to see that, but I don't know where you want to go from there. Secondary, certainly Jalen Todd, Austin Alexander, and I like what they've done in the portal at safety as well. So there's a lot of reasons to feel good about DK McDonald's defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up the fact that the Kansas offensive line has to go up against these guys. And we've already talked about the quarterbacks and the running backs and the wide receivers. But if you don't have a good offensive line, none of that really matters. And we've seen a lot of different guys come through this program, and a lot of guys have gone to the NFL. I think 3 straight years offensive linemen have gotten drafted. So, I mean, that's a testament to Derek Paulsa and the offense and the guys that he brings in on the offensive line. But you have Calvin Clemens, who has been so good, and, you know, local kid, great story for him. Nick Morrow comes over. You have Amir Herring, who's been here for a couple of years, right? Talk to me about this offensive line, because I know it's near dear to your heart, obviously. But, I mean, what are you seeing out of them at practice? Maybe give us some insight in terms of, you know, how this offensive line is kind of gelling together right now.
Got some good parts there, without question. And we're going to be deeper than 5 guys. And that's, you know, every offensive line coach will want to say, you know, we want to play 10. But realistically, I mean, you've got to have, let's say on average, you get 1 nicked up. So you got to have at least 8 ready to go. Big 12 offensive linemen. And I think we're going to reach that. I think Coach Leipold has alluded to, you know, we've had some guys nicked up. I think he also said yesterday that, you know, he doesn't see any of them being long-term, which is a good thing. So getting this group and, you know, getting them to play together, that's the big one. It's not just about individually. It's about them playing together. They've got to fit together like a puzzle, or else you're going to have problems. You know, you're dependent upon knowing when that center is going to go up on the next level, on the linebacker, when you're going to take over, you know, that 3 technique. It starts with the center position. We've got a couple of guys there, but that's, I think, the second most important position on the offense. We have an OSU transfer. We also have a guy Amir Herring, that played guard last year, that has the ability. I think Carpenter is a transfer from OSU. You know, I don't know if competing for that position it's kind of figuring out where they go. You know, does Herring stay at guard? Does he go to center? And then, you know, you bring in a couple of mammoth offensive guards. Yeah. You know, Tuika Lavatu and Stroh.
Stroh looks like a tackle. I mean, he's
a dude.
6'7", 350. I mean, just that you don't have guys guards that are that size.
Yes. So we're going to be potentially massive up front, and that's what you want to do. That's when, you want Willis on short yardage to going in behind those guys. And the quarterbacks, and I'll talk more about the quarterbacks. I'm not afraid. I'm not letting out secrets. They're both strong, but they're both potentially really good runners. And the fact that you've got, Edwards and Willis being such a big threat leads itself for the quarterbacks to really pick up some chunk yardage on third down, because you've got a lot of eyes going towards the running backs.
Yeah. A word on the quarterbacks. Cole Ballard, one thing we saw his true freshman year, David, watching him nearly lead Kansas to victory against Texas Tech and K-State. I mean, he might be told to not dive and not fight for the extra yard, but he's going to.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds cliche. People say that, he's a tough runner. He's not going to. But that's true with Cole Ballard. Not once has he ever, and David, just like I do, you watch every single snap of Kansas football. He does not shy away from hits. And then on the flip side, Isaiah Marshall, I remember Brandon McAnderson saying on one of the game broadcasts last year, I don't remember if it was on air or talking to us during breaks, he runs like Devin Neal. Like he kind of has that shiftiness, and he seems to know when to hit the gap and that sort of thing. So that's really special. I wanted to ask you just kind of holistically, this Kansas team, you can look at it positionally. You mentioned the linebackers. I think the running backs are going to be a lot better. We love Deuce Highshaw, but I think there's, going to be good variety there, versatility with the running backs. Where do you think this team is going to most be improved from last year? Because you had 5 wins last year, and you got to get to at least 6. That's kind of the bar. Kansas is going to have to find ways to win close games. What do you think in general gives you confidence, should give fans confidence that KU is going to win more games this year?
I've gone through 12 head coaches. There's little things I remember of each of them, but one of the guys underrated at the time, I think he's appreciated more. Tough dude from the Big Ten, Glenn Mason. Always rough around the edges, would just come out and say how he felt, even if it hurt feelings. But he would always say, the difference between 4-7 and 7-4 is that much.
Yeah.
You can't even see any space in between that. Of course, that shows how long ago it was. We no longer play 11 games, but you could throw that in there now at 5-7, 7-5, to the point of, wow, we were so close. And we were optimistic, and we did get some wins, but the state of the program is now you want to be better. You want to be better than that, and you want to be at least 7-5. And I hope it's going to be a great argument at the end of the year that you're going to bring up on this excellent podcast is where are we most improved? Because potentially we could be improved in all areas. I'll probably hang my hat on linebacker just because we had some gaps in there at the linebacker position a year ago, and it probably showed itself on a couple of key moments that allowed for explosive plays, because I know DK McDonald's brought it up many times, limit explosive plays, create turnovers. That's 1 and 2 or 2 and 1. And I think we're going to be able to do both of those things this year to be successful on defense.
Yeah, well said. And, I've brought this up plenty of times with you on air on the Jayhawk Radio Network, but Hall of Fame basketball coach Roy Williams had one of my favorite quotes, which is so true in sports. He said, the margin between winning and losing is so thin, but how you feel is so different, and the coaches and the players, after the fact, especially after a loss, they have to answer the questions. And sometimes, you don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but sometimes it comes down to, well, we didn't we didn't make the interception. We didn't pick up
Right.
the ball. Some things that have haunted KU football these past couple years. And you can do all the schematic, all the off-season coverage that Dan and I have been talking about for months on end, but it comes down to when it's time to make the plays. And to your point about Glenn Mason, you got to do that on game night. So,
and another thing, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
To reminisce about Glenn Mason, he wanted people. He wanted people to get upset.
Yeah.
He wanted them angry. He didn't want apathy. He didn't want to lose a game and people just say, oh well, basketball starting in 3 weeks. He hated that, and people do care, and I think Lance would certainly, put a mark next to that. He feels the same way. That it's good. People were not happy with how it finished last year and want and desire a football program that contend in the Big 12 Conference. And from my perspective, we talk about all the negatives, and my age group does a lot when it comes to NIL and portal, but I like where we're at in the Big 12 Conference. We can win this sucker.
Yeah.
We can win this sucker. And we saw, was it 2 years ago, a team picked last win this thing. Right. And who's to say Kansas can't win it this season or next season, because we have the culture and we've got good assistant coaches that go out there and bring in some good guys through the portal and catch a break to flip the script of a year ago, score more points under Kotelnicki, make more stops, create more turnovers under DK, and play for something, that's going to be special someday.
Man, let's kick it off.
Let's go.
I'm ready, right? 2 weeks from today, KU and Long Island, and then we get the visitors from the Show Me State after that before your trip across the pond to take on Arizona State. That'll be fun, and that's a team we could beat, right? I mean, this could be a very successful Kansas football season. We like what we've seen at fall camp so far. David Lawrence, Jayhawk Radio Network, always appreciate you coming in. Our days are always better when we get a chance to chat. So we'll chat soon. We'll chat often during football season. Let's win some games.
Let's do.
All
and
right.
Just take a moment to reflect back. 1863.
You're right.
And what occurred. And they will be coming back in about a month from now.
Exactly. Man. I know. I tried to pump up the guys yesterday.
Fired up, David.
Let's go. David Lawrence, Jayhawk Radio Network. Hey, we're going to go back to the KU football building. Head coach Lance Leipold spoke at KU Media Days yesterday. That's next right here on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com. With Jayhawk Checking from Central Bank, Jayhawk fans can carry their pride wherever they go with the official Jayhawk debit card. Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. As the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life, on campus, at work, and everywhere in between. Learn more about Jayhawk Checking and the exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. Jayhawkchecking.com, Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, member FDIC. All right, we're going to go back to the Anderson Family Football Complex and hear everything that head coach Lance Leipold said yesterday.
Where are we starting today, Henry?
Sure. As you guys kind of, transition out of camp or into the individual, how's everything been going and how's that process been overall?
Very pleased with where we're at right now. Still have plenty to work on. Kind of hit a phase where you're getting a little banged up in some spots and trying to get some units working together consistently and getting guys back. Had a couple guys out with illness, so it's some of that gets to play where you're especially up front if guys are missing. Casey Carpenter's missing time, Tavaka's missing time, Nick Morrow's missed the last couple. The continuity on the right side has kind of been mix and match, so to speak, but other guys are getting reps. Jack Tanner's gotten a ton of reps. DeAndre Harper's played both guard and tackle. Amir's worked more at center, as well as Anderson Kopp, but Kaysen's now back, so Amir's back where he needs to be getting more reps. So all those things are there. Fighting through this part of camp mentally and physically is very important for us to grow as a team. Still encouraged by a lot of the things that we see and guys that can help us, but at the same time we're getting closer to probably narrowing down guys that are gonna be on the field a little bit more.
Since you mentioned it, I guess, any new injuries since the start of camp that you expect to keep people out for a long period of time?
I can't say long period of time yet. We've got some guys that are out. I'm still waiting on some reports yet on a couple guys. Corey Mockery was injured in the scrimmage, waiting on him. Trying to think who else has been out. Carter Moses has been out for a while. Cam Pickett's been out for probably 4 or 5 days now. But those are guys we're expecting back. Probably have to have some updates here as we kind of move down the road.
Real quick to follow up on that, is Cam one where you feel like he'll be ready for the start of the season?
Yeah. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't be now. So he was dressed out today and doing some things, but still extremely limited.
At this point in time, I think maybe 15 practices in, has anyone emerged at quarterback as the starter?
We're still in a very, very competitive quarterback battle right now. Both continue to do a lot of good things. Looking again, as I've said before, the one that's going to be the most consistent, give us the best chance to win games. But that has continued to be. That's a good way of rewording the question, but are we anywhere near naming one? That hasn't been decided. So I thought Chase Jenkins has had some of his better practices of late, and you can tell that he's made up for some of the missed time and feeling comfortable as well. So pleased with him.
And when you think about the team now versus week 1 at the start of the season, what are those areas where you really want to see the improvement or consistency?
Again, just consistency and execution and recognition, assignment, physicality, all the things that you're looking for as a coach. I think some days you go out there and, we say this a lot in coaching, sometimes things don't seem to go as well as you wanted on the field, but when you go in and watch it on film, kind of cut up differently, it's never as bad as it probably actually looked. Both sides of the ball, we don't put really any guardrails on either coordinator. They talk about what's going to be installed, but formationally, blitzes, coverages, we throw a lot at them right away because you're going to have to get ready to go. And I know today, some pressure situations, we probably didn't pick things up as cleanly as we wanted to. Leipold also said it's good. We need it. We need as many of these as we can get, so game day becomes easier. So those are just some of the things that you want to see kind of cleaned up. And I've tried to get better at being more neutral in the space, because sometimes when one side of the ball seems to really win the day, it gets you highly concerned about the other side, and there's going to be some of those. But still very pleased with the amount of 11 on 11 snaps we've done this time around. A big change for us. Situational football is something we've really emphasized, and competitiveness in that, and I think our guys have responded well.
Lance, you talked about this before in fall camp, but the opener, do you still see that being something that could potentially be a way you evaluate the quarterback battle, or do you want it decided before then?
Probably not going to put myself in either category right now. I guess like I said to you guys before, and I still feel strongly about it. Andy and I have, we have conversations with Z. We have conversations just casually ourselves, and the one that always remains consistent is there is no timeline that we feel we have to announce to all of you or them to let us know. And as I've said, it could be game 1, it could be all 12 plus that both guys will play. So, and we'll continue to evaluate what gives us that best chance. Sorry, not giving anything really definitive.
Lance, what is it, you talked about the O-line, what have you seen on the other side from the defensive line?
Yeah, again, a group that continues to get better. Biggie in the middle at nose has been limited a little bit yet, so, but that gives us the big body that we need up front. I think Blake Harrell continues to play at a high level for us. Really pleased with our defensive ends and the rotation that we can have there. Leroy Harris continues to play well. Alex Bray missed a few days, but is back and playing well. David Santiago, I think, has had an excellent camp. I think he's really going to help this football team. Dak Brinkley might be our best pure pass rusher we have. And Leroy's pretty good, so we feel good about that. And then Garrett Martin's a young player that has a bright future and plays with a great motor, so like where we're at there. I think Kevin Otis and Marcus Calvin give us the other bodies inside that we continue to build upon, so I like the front. Trey Lathan's extremely steady. Bam Coach has been a guy that we feel is getting more and more comfortable in this defense and continues to show up more and more. And I think we've gone through some of the guys in the depth in the linebacker room. Austin Alexander continues to get healthier. Okay, Saeed Gibbs is starting to come around. Jalen Todd continues to be extremely steady. Okay. Continue to see plays from the safeties. Corey Gordon, Christian Pritchett continue to show. Taylor Davis has been extremely steady in camp. He has worked on his physicality. You see him working and straining. He's been a better communicator, a better leader in the back end, and all those things are going to pay dividends for us.
I wanted to ask you, you changed your fall camp from last year. What was your opinion on how it went?
Oh, I think it's been good. I think the players really like it. Obviously, the day off rotation has, I think, kept us a little fresher in that regard. I think the body still feels like it does always during camp. But I think also it's, I think everyone in the building feels a little fresher and things and as we go on. But like I said, I still think we've been able to get a lot done. I think when we really look at it and talk as a staff, a lot of the things that we're able to do, that we're allowed to do now in the summer in skill development allows us to practice the way we're doing it now. So it works hand in hand, and we've been very pleased. I know the players, like I said, have been pleased. We're going to kind of wrap up tomorrow, and then we're going to essentially emulate a game week of what their weekly in-season schedule will look like next week, and then of course head into game week.
Did you ever think in your coaching career that you'd be looking at NFL guys going from preseason to the portal?
In early my career, well, no, I guess is the correct answer. Never, but as I was probably going to say, since taking this job, nothing surprises me anymore. Okay, and you can think about how much has changed in 5.5 years or whatever we've been doing this together and it continually seems to change and what it's going to be, and and I just hope we can get to some normality in this on how it really works and years of eligibility and opportunities and whatever that may be. But yeah, it's definitely unique, and kind of see what happens here.
Over here, Lance.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
When it comes to, you mentioned consistency with the quarterbacks, and I'm sure you're looking for consistency all around.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to other years where maybe you've had like at least a knowledge of what's going on with some players' personnel before entering a season. This year, a lot of new faces. You're looking for that consistency. How much of a challenge has that been on the coaching staff to find some of that consistency throughout this camp, knowing that season's coming soon?
It has been challenging, different, I guess is the best way to say it. But again, the opportunities we've been able to be with these guys from the spring. The nice thing, and I think that I want to hit as a positive, is the one portal window, because we've had our team essentially since January, and that's critical versus now. We had some nice additions last year in the second one with Leroy being one of those, but I still think the time we've been able to work with the same group and knowing that it's going to be your team has been important. And you get a chance to see them in different situations, see how they handle adversity personally and as a unit, things like that. And again, as we start to determine roles in that. That's also going to be unique to see how everyone handles that, and it's so important that people are not satisfied with their roles, but accept the roles so that the betterment of the team to move forward.
One more question for you, just NFL related as mentioned, but Jalen Daniels with the Bucs. I don't know if you've had any time to pay attention or even talk to him, but Bucs having the Chiefs this week. I just don't know if you saw him play or anything, but just overall thoughts on how he's transitioned back on.
I did text with him before and after the game, extremely happy for him and proud of him. As I told him before he went into that game, I told him how proud I was of him and who he is, and as I am with all our guys that are getting that opportunity. We were at Corinth Square during that game, but we were driving back. Blake Harold and Kelvin Clements, and we were sitting there looking at things, and they're watching it on their phone. Cole Ballard was with us as well. They're watching it on their phone. We stopped to get something to eat, so had a chance to see a little bit of what he did, and obviously got a chance to see a lot of those highlights. And I think a lot of people in the Tampa area, let alone in the NFL, got a chance to witness what Jalen's all about, but more importantly after the game, to see that smile and that excitement and the genuine enthusiasm of his personality, which is extremely contagious to a program and organization.
Given that a lot of people are flooding into the portal at this bizarrely late stage, are you guys looking to add anyone from this group?
Again, you say adding to the portal. I haven't seen all the extra names. I've just seen a couple of the court cases. We continue to monitor the situation. Is it a possibility? It could be. Again, like a lot of things, you get mixed reviews if this is going to stay. And if you do add, you want, like we were talking to compliance, I think, you saw it in basketball like a year or so ago. Guys come from the G League and they play, and the next thing then they can't play. I don't. Nobody wants to really get into that situation of where that's at.
Are there any players that have emerged throughout camp that maybe like fans aren't expecting to have a big role in the team or perform very well that you have been very impressed with throughout this camp?
Good question, and I'm always bad at answering these because I always feel like I'm going to leave somebody out. Okay, but I mentioned a guy like David Santiago is a guy that has really kind of emerged to me. Our tight ends, Carson Bruin, who had a steady first years and then was injured and missed the end of the last season. That tight end has played well, but I think Jalen Butler's another tight end that has kind of come on the scene that you could see. I think everyone knows the backs that are in the stable, so to speak, in the running back position, that they all have a chance to be impactful. Najee Cox and Nick McMillan, Cam Pickett. Keaton Quebec is playing his best football since he's been a Jayhawk, with confidence and making plays, feeling good there. I mentioned some of those guys in the secondary, Christian Pritchett and Corey Gordon, and again, I still look for our corners that have experience to make plays for us.
Because you have a new group of captains this year, who are some of the guys that you're looking at as, not the ones, but like the leadership group, who are the guys that you think have stepped up?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys in our leadership council group right now, about 16 guys. So, we haven't voted on captains yet and really wait closer to game week because, we want so many guys leading and don't want that to be kind of narrowed down, so to speak. But, both quarterbacks have done a really good job. I mentioned Taylor Davis. Trey Lathan has stepped into a more of a vocal role than he's ever been. Blake Harold, Kelvin Clements, Reno, he's the most vocal, best leader from the long snapping position that I've ever come across in all the years I've been involved in college football. He's got a unique personality and excitement, but is also, his passion is true. It's there. It's genuine, and our players really respect him. So he's probably one that the guys have really kind of rallied around.
As you mentioned, pleased with where you're at. Work still to do. Is there one thing about this team in particular that you're just dying to find out, that you don't know, that keeps you up at night maybe even? And maybe it's something that's similar to every team this time of year, but is there something with this group?
how will we handle adversity? When you kind of get when your back's to the wall, how will you respond? And that can be opening kickoff and somebody kind of smacks you in the mouth, or is it going to be something that's late in the game? And how do you handle something that doesn't go right? And how are we going to handle if we give up a long scoring drive or a big or a explosive score? Or how are we going to do when we if we turn the ball over? Okay, how do we handle those situations? You practice it, you talk about it, you talk about flushing things, you talk about competing, but you don't really know until the lights go on exactly what you have, and especially with some of the other questions about when you have a lot of new guys, what's really going to happen. I can go back and not to live the past too much in here, but I can remember our first year taking this thing over and walking in at halftime and I couldn't believe the look of defeat so early in a group that had no confidence, and where it was at about continuing playing through and playing fourth quarter. So again, when you put a new group together, how do you handle those things? What are you going to do when you're down 2 scores at half? What are you going to do and respond? And those are things that we continually talk about and the competitive nature of our football team.
And Coach Shelby was in here the other day talking about obviously wanting more turnovers from that group. Is there something you've seen that makes you feel like that's coming? You've talked about a lot of individual guys in the secondary, but do you feel like that's on the horizon?
I do. I think there's some things that schematically we're probably more aggressive in some areas than we've been before. Like many cases, time on the field and experience slows the game down. And we've talked about that in other positions, and I'm sure a lot, for our corners, they've been able to see a lot and understand the game more. I think we're faster and more opportunistic at the safety position that allow us to get to some balls as well. So I feel good about all those things. Same thing at linebacker. Like the way, Trey's an athletic linebacker, has good hands and can make plays. I feel we have that across the board.
Anything else for Coach Leipold?
All right, guys. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
KU Football Media Day yesterday. We heard from Coach Leipold and both coordinators, Kotelnicki and DK McDonald. But Coach Leipold got to hear from a lot this fall camp. Of course, that's winding down, and 2 weeks from today, KU Long Island.
Yeah, it's right around the corner, man. September 4th. It's going to be here before we know it. Man, I can't wait for actual meaningful football games to start being played. And, yeah, Coach Leipold, again, I mean, he was asked straight up about the quarterback situation, and, he doesn't want to give anything away. That goes back to what we were talking about in our open is like, hey, what would be the point, right? I mean, he likes both of these guys. He has confidence in both of these guys, and there's no real reason for him to say who the starting quarterback is going to be based on strategy alone, just making people kind of guess as well. But, kind of rolled through a lot of different things there. A name that keeps on getting brought up is DeAndre Harper, which is interesting. Transferred over last year from Northwest Missouri State. Shout out to the MIAA, even though I hate you. Northwest Missouri State kept on winning national championships.
I was gonna say but you don't hate the MIAA.
No, I don't hate the MIAA, but I do hate Northwest Missouri. I hate Pitt State. I hate Fort Hays State. I hate Washburn. Don't get me started on Central Oklahoma. Kearney's fine.
I got to figure out who all is in this.
So Lincoln is no longer in the MIAA anymore, so they're
UCM?
on there. I hate UCM. Oh, I hate those guys.
Emporia State?
Yeah, Stickers up. Shout out. No, but DeAndre Harper, I mean, his name keeps on getting brought a lot, and talked about how he keeps on working in at kind of both the guard and the tackle position. So David talked about it last segment about how, realistically you want 10 guys, and I think DeAndre Harper kind of fits into that role, and we're probably going to see a lot of him, working in, and we're kind of going to feel it out a little bit because you have a whole lot of new guys on the line. You have Calvin, who's been there, Tavake, who's been there, Amir, who's been there, but realistically, you're going to have some rotation with all of these guys, and they're not going to play every single snap, every single down of football. So we're going to see some more guys, and it's just interesting that DeAndre Harper's name keeps getting brought up, which I'm okay with.
It's the first time I've ever come up with this connection, and maybe it's a stupid one, but David saying 8 guys on the offensive line is really what you want. Well, you start with 5, kind of like basketball, right? Bill Self usually wants an 8-man rotation to where you're confident that all of those are Big 12 caliber guys who can contribute, and a little bit of versatility there as well, because you'll be moving some guys around. I think we feel confident. We talk a lot about how it's just Calvin Clements and Amir Herring coming back, but Tavake Tuikilavatu, I'm not seeing any issue in him transition to a starter. And then I think you have really good options with Connor Stroh, Nick Morrow on the other side. And maybe DeAndre Harper, a guy who was made available to the media yesterday, will have an impact. I was able to get a one-on-one with Nick Morrow. We'll play that for you next week as well. Potentially the starting right tackle for Kansas football. All right, after this, it is time.
Ding, 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 ding.
Sports stock market. Thanks for listening on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Central Bank partners of us here at Kansas Nation. Shout out to Mackenzie Chin, by the way.
Shout out to Mackenzie Chin.
Does something with Central Bank.
Shout out to Winter, by the way.
She does something, right?
She is the head or maybe number 2 marketing person over there at Central Bank. Great partner with us and also a great friend of mine. We go to the lake every year with her and her boyfriend Hunter, who actually was on my bachelor trip, and you managed to golf with him, and formerly your neighbor. They moved to Topeka. Right. Great people over there, man. Shout out to McKinsey. Shout out to Will Carter, too. Great guy. Shout out to everybody over there at Central Bank. Great partners.
Play 18 with Hunter, but yes, Mackenzie Chen, and their tent was actually next to our Sports Radio 810 WHB tent. So
that's awesome.
We got to break some bread with them over at the KU kickoff at Corinth Square.
I forgot to tell you, I think I told you this one time, because me and Mackenzie are really good friends, and I just got a random text one time, and Mackenzie was like, "Hey, I'm in your office." I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah." It was before Central Bank, I think, was on as a partner. And she was like, "Yeah, I got shown around different stuff." I was like, "No way. That's cool. It's such a small world. That's so fun." So, yeah, shout out to Central Bank.
Central Bank does have the exclusive Jayhawk debit card. You're going to want to check that out. They are the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas. And you can learn more about Jayhawk Checking and that exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. jayhawkchecking.com. Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas. Member FDIC. Everybody's favorite
ding, 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 ding.
segment.
I love it.
Sports stock market.
How else do you want to talk about what's going on in the world of sports and what stock is up, what stock is down?
We could do. You know what's crazy is this segment is so different than Case of the Mondays.
It is because sometimes it's up.
So it's different because Case of the Mondays is only bad things, but sports stock market, it's good and bad things.
Well, it's not even necessarily good and bad. It's up and down. What stock is up? What stock is down? What buys should you do? What should you sell on different things?
All right, what are we selling here first?
All right, I'm going to sell stocks down on push notifications. I got this push notification. I believe this was 2 days ago. So, yeah, it was on a Wednesday. The weirdest thing, I don't know why the hell I got it. I think everybody who has ESPN push notifications got this. ESPN put out a push notification that said, new Oklahoma State football coach Eric Morris shoots and kills an armadillo in his backyard. The way that that's worded, abundantly clear that it's supposed to cause panic.
When you type Eric Morris, the first thing that comes up on Google is
shoots and kills
armadillo.
Okay, that's fair. I mean,
wow.
And he's got to be used to it though, right? I mean, he lived in Texas. They've armadillos out down there too. But it's just it's such a
yes,
clickbait.
The push notification is
it's
rough.
100%
the
clickbait.
wording is bad.
Well, Tyler said he got one about Nebraska, and it was former Nebraska head coach Tom Osborne ... And they're like, what happened? What happened to Tom Osborne? And it was just he had dinner or something. It was something stupid like that. They word these. It's very much like TMZ now, where it's they word them to where it's oh my gosh, when you're reading it, you're it shoots and kills an armadillo.
This is what Eric Morris said, quote, "My brain's going constantly, and so I don't sleep very well. I've had a couple of armadillo problems tearing up my lawn. Finally, a couple of days ago, I just popped up at 2:30 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, and I thought it was a great opportunity for me to go outside, and luckily I found him. Had to send a text message to my neighbors. I apologized for the gunshot. I am in the country, so it was legal, but I did get rid of him," end quote. Huh.
Get rid of him? What is he, a mobster?
That's a strange story.
That is a strange story. I mean, good for him, I guess.
I guess poor armadillo. He said he was tearing up his flower beds, tearing up his yard.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Piper's my wife's like neighbor growing up. He would shoot like moles in their backyard.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tough.
Don't really want those early in the morning.
But that was a crazy
shots.
push notification. Like,
yeah.
Because like, why would I be getting a push notification about Eric Morris shooting an armadillo? Like they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
To be like,
oh yeah, clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait. Hey, Case. Oh my gosh. All right, maybe I'm proving his point. Stock is up. Don't give me that look. What are you giving me that look for? Stock's up on brain farts. Julio Rodriguez for the Seattle Mariners had a big old one. So there was one out. It was the bottom of the 8th. The Seattle Mariners were down 19-0. Pop fly, center field. He catches the ball, thinking that there was 2 outs. Thought he caught the third one, launched the ball into the stands with bases loaded, scored 2 runs.
Stock's up on RBIs or RBI or RSBI, depending on how you say runs batted in, how you abbreviate it. Christian Yelich gets a sac fly for that because there was only 1 out. He did his job.
Right.
But yes,
you got 2 RBIs.
I was talking to you before. This is maybe the only scenario where I don't really blame a baseball player for doing this because it was literally 19-0.
Yeah.
Leo Rivas, an infielder, was pitching, throwing epheses to the Brewers hitters. Yelich corks one 380 feet, and J-Rod, I understand, man. The dude is half asleep. You're down 19-0.
Yeah.
Like
he's thinking about what he's going to have for dinner that night.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
get out of there.
the Brewers, instead of getting just the 20th run, shout out to the best team in the NL Central, by the way. The
shout out to Winter,
20th run, they get 21. And does Yelich get 2 RBIs for that? I think
he does, right? Well, somebody had this scenario. They said, say an outfielder dives for a ball and misses. Now, the ball is all the way at the fence. Could they purposely throw the ball into the stands to prevent an inside-the-park home run? I want to look this rule up.
It is interesting. I think
would
first
that
and
count
foremost,
as a ground rule double, or would they count that as a home run?
It would depend where the base runner is, I think.
Sure.
I'm sure it's in the rule book somewhere.
Well, I guess no.
But if the guy is in between second and third by the time you retrieve the ball
Right.
and then you chuck it into the stands, I think he gets third and then he gets home also.
Sure.
Because you
But
get an extra base.
Also think about this, like when the outfielder touches the ball, because do you remember Jose Canseco?
I do.
It bounced off of his head over the fence.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the same thing.
Same
right?
thing happened earlier this year with Ronald Acuna. I want to say just a few weeks ago, home run only because it hit the outfielder, either the head or they collided and hit their glove and went over.
So if you hit like a ground ball, goes all the way out to the outfield by the fence, the outfielder takes the ball and just puts it over the fence. Is that a home run?
See, I think it's different the Canseco or Acuna things because the ball didn't hit the ground.
Sure. So would that be a ground rule double to prevent an inside the park home run?
I think it depends where the base runner is.
What if he's rounding first? Does he just go to third?
I don't know.
I mean, you could technically prevent an inside the park home run.
You could, but in the scenario where you have the ball and the runner's only between first and second, then...
Well, I know. Yeah, then you're probably going to make a play anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably only getting to third anyway.
Anyway, tough scene for the Mariners.
Tough scene for the Seattle Mariners. Hey, stock's up on U-Haul because A.J. Store's keeping them in business. A.J. Store just committed to his 9th school in 9 years. He has now committed to the University of Las Vegas, Nevada. UNLV.
Nevada,
the
Las
running
Vegas.
Rebs.
Yeah,
University
I
of
don't
Nevada,
necessarily
Las Vegas.
love bringing in the high school thing because I feel like a lot of people do that. But yeah,
I
5
know.
schools in 5 years.
Yeah,
he unfortunately was unable to complete the. What did he need?
He needed
to go
an ACC
to a
school.
ACC, okay,
Yeah.
or Pac-2 would have worked, right?
Pac-2 would have worked. Was UNLV technically in the Pac-2 now? Pac-12 now?
That's true.
So,
okay.
One more year. One more year.
We got it. Can't just picture. Close your eyes.
Okay.
Picture AJ Store in a Georgia Tech jersey.
Oh, I can see it
I mean, won't
now.
that be gorgeous for the 27-28 season?
Oh, I can see it now.
Get all 6
that'd be beautiful.
conferences.
By the way, there is going to be an AJ Store revenge game.
There is, yes. Players Era 8, Kansas against UNLV. That'll be fun.
Do you think he's going to have a little chip on his shoulder for that game? Or do you think it really matters
I think
for him?
the chip on his shoulder is going to be the exact same size that it was the entirety of his time at KU.
I was going to say, yeah. But, who do you think out of all of the schools that he's been to, who do you think he claims? Because he was the best at Wisconsin.
You have to claim Wisconsin.
You have to claim Wisconsin, right? I mean, he was at Wisconsin but he was at St. John's for 2. No, he was at St. John for 1 year. So
he wasn't anywhere for 2 years.
Yeah, he was at St. That's right. He was at St. John's for a year, then Wisconsin for a year, had his best year, then went to Kansas, horrible. Ole Miss, he was fine, and then now he's going to be at UNLV. He probably is going to have his best year at UNLV, honestly. No, he didn't. Did he?
He did. He played awesome in the SEC tournament, and they were like the 14 seed or something.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Whatever. But yeah, like I said, he's keeping U-Haul in business. Hey, stock is down on society as a whole. Kim Kardashian is going to be producing a reality show about moms whose sons attend an elite baseball school in Arizona.
This is you being a hater, man. I would totally watch this.
No. The reason I think it's glorifying. It's glorifying terrible parents. I was an umpire for, I'm not going to do the math, 8 years, I think, is how long I was an umpire for. I started in my freshman year or my 8th grade. No, it was my freshman year of high school, and I umpired here and there throughout college. Parents are the worst, most unbelievably terrible people I've ever met in my life whenever they're behind a fence and their kid's up to bat and you call a strike that's a ball.
Well,
I hate them.
I agree with you.
That's Carbondale Rec League. I don't even want to
the number one reason that I chose to never be an umpire. Because you don't think I would love being out at the ball fields every night?
Of course.
It's awesome. But I didn't want to deal with the parents.
The kids are great.
How I understand this is that, again, it's moms whose sons attend an elite baseball school in Arizona. Believe it or not,
it's called Team Moms Baseball.
Believe it or not, all the moms look like you would expect them to look like in terms of Kim Kardashian type, reality show, unrealistic, that sort of thing. Baseball is going to follow the families, but I think you might be a little bit off base here because what I see is the kids compete on the field and the drama unfolds in the stands. I don't necessarily think that it's the moms bickering at the umpire. I think they're just,
All right, so it's off.
I'm here for the drama.
I can just tell, I can just see it now, the moms are calling the coach, being like, why isn't my son playing? Why are you putting him in right field?
That
He's
shouldn't have been an infield fly.
Yeah, what are you doing? No, it's just, it's glorifying.
If it's more about baseball, I'm good.
It's glorifying the worst part about child sports.
We'll see.
Which
it's
is
worth watching.
Parents think that their child is the next coming of Jesus.
It's worth watching so that we can see if that's right.
I'm not going to watch it.
I'll watch it.
Okay. You watch it, and then how about this? We'll come up with a new segment. Sean breaks down Team Moms Baseball.
Okay.
And you can spend 20 minutes explaining it.
Right.
Last one here. Stocks down on the job market. This is crazy. I actually looked this up, and this is 100% true. I looked this up on LinkedIn. The Big 12 is hiring a new director of partnerships. Now, if you have a brain and you start to put 2 and 2 together, that means that the person who concocted the monster logo on the Big 12 patch has now since been fired.
What do you think the chances are that next sports season, the monster logo is still going to be a thing?
I bet it's done.
You think it's going to be done?
I think it's going to be done.
How long was the agreement?
Well, 1 year. 1 year, $20 million, right?
Which is just not a lot of money.
No. It's not a lot of money. That's why I think they got fired, is because when you put a jersey patch on, not just one, but every single Big 12 school.
And the courts yet.
And the courts?
I think it will be something that we look back down the line and be like, remember that year that the monster logo was on the Allen Fieldhouse court? Yeah.
It's horrible. It's disgusting. And I haven't talked about this enough. There's a way to make it tasteful. You match the Pantones. You make it subtle. RXP did a good job. XRP. Sorry, not RXP. XRP did a fine job. It's barely noticeable. It's there. It's a KU alumni. And he paid a lot of money for it. Monster did not pay a lot of money to have it on all 16 of the teams, including football, basketball, soccer, everything. I think it might just be soccer. Or no, it might just be football and basketball. Is it just football and basketball? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
that person got canned.
It says Big 12 Conference seeks qualified applicants to join his team as Director of Partnerships. This individual will be responsible for identifying, developing, and closing high-value corporate partnerships that align leading brands with the Big 12. Also, did you see that doctors are calling for it to not be
I did
promoted
see that.
because Monster Energy is bad for you.
Supposedly not healthy. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, tell that to Sean.
Right.
Okay.
Hey, something's brewing in the Kansas Nation studio. We're going to have a cup of coffee with Tyler Brewer after this. We're also going to hear from a couple of KU running backs, both of whom were named to the Doak Walker Award preseason watch list, Dylan Edwards and Yasin Willis. Again, like I said, Dan and I each had separate conversations with them yesterday. We're going to play Dan's conversation with them after this on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com. Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment partners of us here at Kansas Nation. You can visit them online at HeinenOPE.com. They have a great selection of power sports. They've got lawnmowers, tractors, trailers, whatever you need. You can visit them 1795 East 1500 Road in Lawrence. They also have a Valley Falls location. Visit them online at HeinenOPE.com. That's HeinenOPE.com.
Yeah.
Let's kick it to Dylan Edwards at the KU Football Media Day yesterday. Dan Courtwright caught up with him.
Dylan, how's fall camp going? Obviously, long, hot days, but I mean, September 4th, right around the corner.
Yeah, it seems like we were just in winter, you know what I'm saying, just grinding and going through workouts, but it's been good, you know, coming here and just knowing that, you know, everything is going to be, you know, what it is when it comes to football, and just trying to, you know, execute and make plays.
Sure, you've been asked this before, but growing up in Kansas, obviously you probably saw the old booth and seeing that construction out there right now. I mean, is this something that you've ever even thought was imaginable? And just talk to me about the facilities and the investment going in KU football right now.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a big investment going into KU football. Stadium's real nice and it looks nice. We practiced there in the last couple of days. Turf is real nice in there, and I can't wait to pack them in there and perform.
We heard from Coach Sleeve about how much faster and stronger everyone's gotten. I mean, have you seen that for you personally as well as the rest of the team?
I've definitely packed on some weight this offseason, and I hope it shows this year on the football season how powerful I can be.
Talk about the running back room. I mean, you get you and Yasin, you know, different styles of backs. You also have Jalen Dupree back there, Corey Mockery. I mean, a lot of depth in that running back room. Talk to me about that competition and what each individual kind of brings to the table.
Yeah, I think it brings a lot of diversity in the room. Some guys are physical, some guys can catch the ball out the backfield, and so you just try to, you know, whatever coach wants on the field, you know, that's what we're going to do, and I'm just going to go out there and play my game.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk to me about the quarterbacks. I mean, playing with those guys in the backfield, what are you seeing out of each one of those guys, whether that be leadership, whether that be, you know, on-field talent?
Yeah, I mean, both of the quarterbacks play two different. And I like how, you know, they both can lead in different ways and talk to people on the field. And, you know, everyone listens to both of them. And so I don't think it's a leadership drop with, you know, any of them that goes in. So just try to feed off their energy and go out there and make plays for them. That's pretty much it.
What's something that you personally have been working on kind of through the spring and the off season to kind of take your game to the next level?
Yeah, I think I've been working on every aspect of my game. Just coming here in the indoor. In the off season by myself, just grinding, trying to, you know, work on the little things and work on the little techniques I want to work on, so in the game I can use them. Just coming in and working as hard as I can not to fail this year and just be explosive and be dynamic.
Talk to me about Andy Kotelnicki being the offensive coordinator. I mean, he's known for his creativity, all the pre-snap, different things like that, the way he schemes up different things. I mean, is that a fun system to play in? Was there a bit of a learning curve, I guess, heading into that system?
I wouldn't say it's a learning curve. I just think going into a new offense, you're definitely going to learn different schemes and all that stuff. But just trying to get with the coaching staff and walk through these plays and just try to get more comfortable with running the scheme is something that is definitely helped me in this offseason.
What can KU fans expect out of Dylan Edwards this year?
You can expect an explosive player that's just trying to make plays for this squad and be dynamic.
Good luck this season.
One of the two KU running backs named to the Doak Walker Award preseason watch list for the best running back in the country. That's Dylan Edwards. And here's the other man on that list representing the Jayhawks, Syracuse transfer Yasin Willis.
Yasin, tell me about fall camp. Just how's it been? A lot of long, hot days, but September 4th right around the corner, man.
Yeah, everything been good, man. We've been stacking. You know, every day we sharpening the iron, sharpening the sword. You know, the guys, we've really been knowing each other, making sure that we staying on point with the little details, stuff that's going to have us ready for week one and so on after that. So fall camp really been a success for us, I'd say.
And talk to me about the running back room in general. I mean, you got you, Dylan, Jalen Dupree. We didn't get to see a lot of them, but you see them every day. Corey Mockery, a young, fast, talented guy. Talk to me about the depth in that running back room.
Yeah, it's crazy. You got a lot of talented guys that, one behind the next. It's like, we trying to make it to a point where we all so important as one that any of us come out the game, you put the next one in, it won't look no different.
And they've talked about, getting you to be more in the receiving game as opposed to being that big bruising back between the tackles. Just talk to me about that, I guess, transition and working on that part of your game.
I feel like it kind of been normal for me. Now I'm really going to be able to get to show it. That's something I kind of been working on since a younger age. I always kept that versatility in my game, being able to run the ball and go out and catch like a receiver, run routes like a receiver. So I think it's going to be that's going to play a big part in my game this season.
You obviously have to do a lot of work with the offensive line as well. I mean, what are you seeing out of those big guys? You got to be able to run through them.
Hey, the offensive line, I say them guys, they big, they physical, and they smart. The guys, they hold each other accountable when they mess up, and they talk to each other about it. So that's what I really like about our O-line. They're dedicated to what they do. They take pride in what they do, and they love their job.
Yeah. Talk to me about the quarterbacks. Obviously, there's competition going on right now, but you're in the backfield with both of them. How have you seen them grow as quarterbacks?
Oh, for sure. Both quarterbacks, they definitely grew in the mental aspect and being more of a leader. I feel like over time they gained that, and they're doing a great job right now. Both of them. Cole Ballard, he's making big plays. Zeke Marshall is making big plays. Especially Zeke, he's more of a scrambler. He's running out the pocket and doing what he do. And Cole got the good arm. He's been making some good plays in practice. So I'm really proud of both of those guys.
Yasin, good luck this year.
Appreciate you.
That's KU running back Yasin Willis yesterday at KU Football Media Days. Again, we're going to have all over our socials all sorts of exclusive interviews with guys from KU Football Media Day yesterday, and you're going to see them a lot next week on Rock Chalk Sports as well. As next week won't be game week for KU. It will be game week for everybody playing in week 0, which is exciting. Mm-hmm. Football season is officially here.
Is that a TCU North Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's week 0. So good.
Is it? There's like a Hawaii game too. Hold on.
I love it.
Week 0
schedule. Week 0 schedule. Let's see who can find it. Week 0 schedule.
Got it. Wait, nope. Got it. North Carolina, TCU, 11 a.m. San Jose State against USC.
It's a big slate.
It is kind of a big slate. NC State, Virginia. That'll be fun. Jacksonville State, North Dakota State, Sac State, Eastern Michigan, Hawaii, Stanford, New Mexico State, Florida State, Memphis, UNLV.
Is that Sac State EMU game? Is that a conference game?
Yeah, because Sac State's in the MAC now, right? Yeah.
MAC Brethren.
Oh, man.
Good stuff, man. I love those late-night games. Vegas hosting Memphis. So good, so good. Hey, something's brewing here in the Kansas Nation studio. We're bringing on Tyler Brewer, one of our in-studio interns who's actually covering KU volleyball for us. Tyler, we'll ask you one question about KU volleyball. Katie Dalton revenge game tomorrow, top 15 exhibition, as Creighton comes calling, as Blue Jays are ranked 13th and Kansas is ranked 15th in the preseason poll. But we've been hearing from these running backs, Tyler, and I know that you had a take you wanted to bring up, all of our conversations earlier in the show and with David Lawrence as well about KU's backfield.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the couple of fall camp practices that I got to go to, you saw, these running backs look great top to bottom. The O-line's big, like David Lawrence was talking about earlier in the show, and I just feel like with all the questions around the quarterback situation at KU, not enough people are talking about what the best scheme for KU is. I think regardless of who the quarterback is for KU come week 1, or I guess week 2 is probably where it matters a little most, we've decided now. I think KU is going to be a very run-heavy team this season. I don't think we've talked about it enough, but you have the law firm of Edwards and Willis.
Yes.
And, I just think
we're rubbing up on them too much.
Yeah. those guys are definitely going to be, I think, the focal point, especially if you have an offensive line that you really trust in front of them. 8 guys that can all go compete in the Big 12, like David Lawrence was saying. But yeah, and we've seen a lot of kind of option stuff too in some practices. And I think it'd be kind of stupid to not have that threat with both quarterbacks being able to run. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'd be kind of surprised, regardless of who the quarterback is, if they have to throw more than 20, maybe 25 times a game. I feel like if you have to do that with these fairly inexperienced quarterbacks, especially early on in the season, it might not be the recipe for success.
And when you look at the running game, because you said it's going to be a run-heavy team, you mentioned the option, and Matt Lubick came in a couple of years ago and really kind of implemented that. Jalen Daniels was so good in the option, right? I mean, we saw it in the year that they were out at Arrowhead and Sporting KC, and every time they ran it, I was like, oh, man, like I got chills up my spine. But I feel like they didn't run it enough, right? With Andy Kotelnicki coming back, do you see this, when you talk about run-heavy, are you thinking more option than between the tackles? Are you thinking a healthy mixture of both? Where do you think the scheme fits?
I don't think that KU is going to get too one-dimensional with anything they do. I think Kotelnicki is pretty good at spreading out what he likes to do and coaching to his players' strengths and everything. So I think Yasin Willis will be the main guy going between the tackles, like we're saying here. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in there on a couple of options, couple read options in between the tackles.
Open field tackling Yasin Willis does not seem like fun.
I couldn't imagine being a corner, having to run up and try and tackle him. I got my shoulder dislocated in high school from a guy that was probably 160 pounds. I can't imagine what Yasin Willis would do to a guy like me.
Yeah, 230.
But, yeah, I think Dylan Edwards definitely on like a speed option kind of thing, and then you have speed with the wide receivers too. You can get a little bit of a triple option thing going too. It's not like, I mean, it's not reserved for the service academies.
It is interesting because you look back last year, and Kansas really didn't throw the ball as much as maybe you'd think, and I think some of this is skewed because Kansas didn't run as many offensive plays as their opponents because the defense really struggled getting off the field. And we talked so much last year about KU not playing complementary football. And Jalen Daniels had a much better start to his season than end to his season. But, you know, most of the time Kansas was throwing high 20s attempts per game. I would be shocked if it's more than that. To your point, Tyler, because we were talking about this, it's not just that Kansas is having a quarterback controversy or hasn't publicly said who the QB is. It's that both those guys can run. So even if you're calling a pass play, it still could end up being a rush play based on scrambles, what happens with Ballard and or Marshall. So, yeah, that's very interesting. And I think Kotelnicki, to your point, is something that he does really well is he's going to utilize the talent on this team. Cam Pickett's a guy who could carry the ball, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So that's another option that KU could have. But, yeah, that could be fun. And maybe as much as we talk about the quarterback, it's more so, hey, Kansas has a lot of different guys who can run the ball. How schematically is Kotelnicki going to make it still a struggle for the defense to stop him? So,
absolutely.
Yeah. I thought you were up.
Oh, I was going to ask. Well, okay, we got volleyball coming up, obviously, tomorrow. You're going to be out there covering it. I mean, just obviously you've done a little bit of research with Taylor Stanley being the Big 12 preseason freshman of the year. You got the Peanut Butter Cups with Reese Patak and Reese Messer as well. Just give us kind of a preview of what you're maybe going to be looking for in this exhibition game. Technically, it doesn't matter, but still, it's a big-time, you know, it's a Katie Dalton revenge game, and Creighton's a really, really solid volleyball program.
It's just going to be consistency with KU volleyball. I think just getting them to gel early on in the season, seeing how everyone kind of shapes up together, especially when they're not playing against each other somewhat. I know a couple of the girls were playing both sides there in the scrimmage last week. But it's going to be mostly that. I'm hoping to see Hawks in 4. I think they might. I think Creighton's good enough. They might get 1. I would love to see them get swept, though, because UNL all the way.
Yeah.
But,
well, you're a Nebraska native, if you will. I mean, volleyball, it's big up there, right? I mean, did you, Nebraska's obviously very, very good at volleyball. You also have, Creighton, who's, nationally ranked, I guess. I mean, you're probably well ingratiated in terms of the volleyball culture, right?
Nebraska ranked number 1 preseason. AVCA, it looks like. Texas 2, Kentucky 3, and Pitt 4. KU will take on Pitt.
It's the top 4 with volleyball is kind of scary. The Big Ten's a very scary volleyball conference. So with Nebraska, I don't really care with where they're ranked anywhere until the tournament, because that's just kind of where they've fallen off the past couple of years, is they get bounced in some big upset after being hyped up all season. So I'm hoping that, they have a couple preseason preseason Big Ten Player of the Year candidates early on in the season, but it all matters in March. And I think a team like KU this year could end up being a team that could upset one of those top 4 teams, especially if they come together, gel together, and if they play faster how Ulmer wants. But there's a lot of talent on the KU volleyball team, and I think they're not going to get the notoriety that they deserve until they get that big win, maybe against a team like Pitt, though, early in the season.
It's interesting because, to your point, Nebraska has fallen short. They lost to Texas A&M in the Elite Eight last year. And kind of getting back to what you said about KU could get hot, Texas A&M was a 3 seed. You don't see this too often. Usually it's Penn State, Nebraska, Wisconsin. Those teams find a way to win volleyball. But Texas A&M was a 3 seed, and they beat Kentucky, who was a 1 seed in the national championship last year. Kansas City does a great job putting on whenever they get the chance to host the Final Four. They do an awesome job, and A&M as the 3 seed got it done. So, yeah, we'll have to see how this group does gel. And, again, tomorrow, KU volleyball against Creighton in an exhibition. And then the first game against number 4 Pitt. Excited for that. Tyler's going to be out there at Horse Family Volleyball Arena tomorrow and throughout the volleyball season, giving you coverage on KansasNation.com. We'll bring you on to talk volleyball, Tyler, but, of course, continue to talk football and basketball as well. Appreciate your work as always.
Of course, that's what's brewing today, folks.
That's what's brewing. Do we like something's brewing or here's what's brewing? We gotta.
What's brewing? What about that?
I don't like it.
Okay.
Something's brewing. Here's what's brewing.
Here's something's brewing with Tyler Brewer.
All right, we'll think on it.
Something.
Anyway, after this, we're going to find out if Kansas football will go 12-0 this season, as Dan Courtwright will continue a record forecast, final one, as he looks at Oklahoma State, who Kansas will face the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 28th, in the final game of the regular season. That's next, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports, getting your weekend going here on KansasNation.com. Thanks as well to everybody watching live on Facebook, live on YouTube. If you miss anything, check us out, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on YouTube after the fact. Dan, Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment, partners of us here in Lawrence.
Yeah, they're outdoor enthusiasts. They're excited to help you experience the fun and adventure that quality lawn and garden and outdoor power equipment can bring into your life. They're an outdoor power equipment dealership serving the Lawrence area, also the Valley Falls area. If you're in that area as well, they're the best in new and pre-owned Ferris, Hustler, Country Clipper lawnmowers, Mahindra tractors and implements, Arctic Cat ATVs and UTVs, steel handhelds, and Billy Goat specialty turf products. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales, financing, service, and parts department are ready to offer the outstanding service and ready to offer you outstanding service every step of the way. You can visit them at HeinenOPE.com. That's HeinenOPE.com.
Big 12 football record forecast takes us to the final game of the regular season, November 28th. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. No Black Friday game for KU this season. I don't think anybody's heartbroken about that. But Saturday, the Hawks will travel down to Stillwater to take on head coach Eric Morris and the Oklahoma State Cowboys, led by sophomore quarterback transfer Drew Mestemaker. Yeah. KU has not lost a game, interestingly enough. So it's Oklahoma State deciding if Kansas will finish the year at 12-0. But let's start with the Cowboys' schedule. They open up at Tulsa, a team they had an embarrassing loss to last year.
Womp, womp. Yeah, they make that return trip. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. Obviously, Eric Morris, I'm sure, knows that as well. So they're going to go ahead and beat Tulsa, but then they host number 2 Oregon.
Speaking of embarrassing losses, wasn't it 69-3 last year or something like that?
They're going to lose. They're going to lose so bad in that game. Then they beat Murray State. That's fine, whatever. So they wind up being 2-1 in the non-conference. A good, nice, healthy start to Eric Morris's tenure. They go to West Virginia. West Virginia actually beats them. I remember saying that one. West Virginia beats Oklahoma State in Morgantown. That means they're 2-2. They beat UCF in Stillwater. That means they're 3-2. They go ahead and I'm going to say they beat Houston in Houston on October 17th. That means they're 4-2. A nice little run there. Then they beat Colorado 5-2. They go to Iowa State. They beat Iowa State 6-2. They lose at K-State 6-3. Lose against Texas Tech 6-4. I'm going to say they go out. I remember saying this. They go out to Tempe and lose 6-5. And then they finish the game. They finish in Stillwater against Kansas. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Kansas wins 6-6. For Eric Morris's first year.
What a terrible end of the season for Eric Morris as they start at 6-2. Everything is so promising.
And they lose on a
they go 0 for November, losing all 4 of their games, including a home senior day loss to the Jayhawks of Kansas, who finished the season at 12-0.
That's just the way that it was.
Record forecast. Looking forward to the Big 12 championship game featuring the Jayhawks and somebody. I don't know. I feel like everybody else went 6-6 and KU went 12-0. Anyway, that'll do it for Rock Chalk Sports today. Big shout out to Elijah Schmidt and Tyler Brewer behind the camera today. For Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying, stay tuned to our socials all weekend long, and we'll be back here Monday from 4 to 6. Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, and KansasNation.com.